Before we can create matrices, it might be a good idea to learn to create arrays first. We call up the field code brackets, type EQ space backslash, then A for array. If it's a one-column array we want, this would be enough. That is, if we type an opening parenthesis and the entries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all separated by commas. Then a closing parenthesis, cut and paste, and we have our column array. Without any other specifications within the array field code, the default is an array with a single column. If the array has to have 3 columns, for example, we need to specify this. To see how we can generate an array with 3 columns, we toggle to the field code mode. Type backslash after A, type CO for column, and then the column number. In this case, let's set the number of columns to 3. Toggle out of the field code mode, and we have our 2 by 3 array. Word automatically determines where a row starts and ends, based on the number of columns that we specify. To further demonstrate, let's change the number of columns to 2. So instead of 3 columns, let's say we have 2 columns. Toggle out of the field code mode, and we have our 3 by 2 array. The problem with the array right now is that the 2 columns are so close together that what is supposed to be an array with 2 columns can easily be mistaken for an array with a single column of 2-digit numbers, 12, 34, and 56. We can specify the spacing between the columns by typing after A backslash HS for horizontal spacing. Let's say that we want a spacing of 5 points. Toggle out of the field code mode, and the columns are much more clearly delineated. We can do something similar for the spacing between the rows. This time, we use VS, let's say a spacing of 10 points, which is quite generous. Okay, this time we have a yawning chasm between the 2 rows. Let's bring back the vertical spacing to 0. There, that's much better. Now to create a matrix. Call up the field code brackets EQ space backslash B, which we think stands for bracket, backslash BC, which we think means brackets on both sides of the matrix, backslash, and then we'll use a square bracket. We can also use parentheses or braces, or any other character for that matter. Open parentheses to start the entries of the matrix. This time, we'll just copy the array that we had created earlier and insert it into the bracket field code. Then a final closing parenthesis, cut and paste, and we have our 3 by 2 matrix. There is one slight problem with the matrix. The entries are skewed a little bit to the left. There is an option for arrays that we can use to align the entries so that the entries are centered along each column. We go all the way right after A for array. Type backslash and then AC to align the entries along the center of each column. AL will be aligning everything to the left. AR will be aligning everything to the right. Toggle out, and we have a much better looking matrix. On a final note about matrices and arrays, typing up the field code for matrices and arrays is quite complicated. We strongly recommend associating shortcut keys for the creation of matrices.